And so, I mean, man, you mentioned a lot, what trends do I see? What new skills can I build upon? What opportunities do I see presenting themselves? Talk to
Yeah,
me a little bit about like what, you have been out of college for how long now?
2008.
Okay. So 12 years, right? What do
12
you
years,
wish
yeah.
what do you wish somebody told you 12 years ago?
How easy and cheap it is to start a business.
Woo! Tell me more. Like why? Why?
to Because and even telling me the importance of business, right? Um, and that it's not all about just trying to get a job, but
Mm,
like building a business. Building a business is important. Is important not only for yourself and your family and your legacy, but also for your community.
that's good.
Um,
That's good. And you
Also,
have your
like
legacy. You have your wife. You have your son. That's
yeah,
legacy.
yeah.
What do you
And
hope for
even if
your
you don't have a
son?
wife, and what do I hope
Yeah.
for my son? I
Yeah.
man, I really, so I always think about this. I have conversations with my wife around it too. So I say, I'm like, like we could save for his college. Cool. Right. We could do that. Save for his college. But I always want to present him with the option. Like, is that an area that you want to go in? Um, and if you do want to go in, you tell me why. If you don't want to go in, you tell me why and give me your plan, what it is that you want to do. Um,
Mm,
but it's also about like rearing him the right way and making sure that we pay attention to what his gifts are and
yeah.
push him in those areas, and encourage him to do some things that he loves. Find out what it is that, like, these same questions that I went down. These
Yeah.
are things that I want to ask my son. I want
Wow.
to encourage my son to
That's
think
beautiful.
of, at least just teaching him how to think. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what would you say, man, when you think about legacy and just because I know you're from the community, you're from Queens, New York, right? When you think
Mm.
about just black wealth and our community, like, and
Hmm.
our legacy, like what is your hope, you know? How do you see the current state of affairs, and then what is your hope? Especially as
The
you're talking
current
to
the
the next generation.
the current state of affairs is very grim.
Oof.
It's grim. And not to sound dark or anything like that, but it's just that's the reality, like the current state of affairs is very grim. What I hope for my community, and I'm talking about my community all over America, you know, and really all over the world too, because I do see this kind of happening, like black wealth struggles, period.
Mm,
Right? And the reason why black wealth struggles is because we do not band together. We don't we don't have enough communities where we run the school system, where we run the political climate,
mm,
where we police ourselves. You know what I mean?
wow.
Like there's not enough communities in which we have good infrastructure. And so my hope is that we can build communities where we can build schools like Montessori schools, um, and really practice group economics. And when I say group economics, if that's confusing, I think the best idea of group economics that we have in history is Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
And so if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, they should definitely go and look that up, um, because you can find excellent information on it. And just ask yourself, like, how is it that these people were able to come together to build schools, to build businesses, to build a bus line, to build, like an air terminal, an airport terminal, things of that nature, like so. It's that was done so long ago. This is 2020. We can do a
No
whole lot more.
excuse. Right. No
No excuse.
excuses.
Yeah, yeah.
Man. And now I think you're probably one of the first people, because you're a pretty young guy, and you're one of the first like young guys that I've interviewed who, is married. And when
Yeah.
I, the way Student Dream defines wealth, right? So Student Dream, we exist to train young people of color to build wealth through personal finance, investing, and entrepreneurship. And the way we
Mm.
define wealth is being able to, make more money than you spend with integrity, joy, and generosity. And,
Ooh, wow.
wealth is so much more than money. And part of that is
Yes.
family, part of that is your health.
Uh-huh.
And so talk to me
Yeah.
about, kind of just like your decision to get married and build a family at such a young age, and how you think that played a role in building your wealth.
Wow. That's a good question. Um, the decision to get married was that, like I'm a believer. I believe
Yeah.
in God. I hope that's okay to say.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm
Be
not
yourself.
I'm not I am not very PC.
Please don't be. Ain't nobody got time
So
for that, man.
right. So
That's good.
the
I'm
decision to
not
get
either.
married is like we know. Um but yeah, so the decision to get married um was really completely like spiritual, really. um I met my wife, and the minute I saw her, I knew she was gonna be my wife.
Hmm.
And I took that as a sign from God, like telling me, like, yo, this is your wife. She's gonna be your wife. Be prepared, you know. And so taking that calling seriously is the thing that pushed me, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just like it's just something that I just feel that, as a black man, right? The best thing, some of the best things that we could do because of our stigma is marry one woman, be
Wow.
faithful to that woman, have children, and love them. Because we're defying just those through those simple steps. We're defying the stigma, you know. And that right there, in and of itself, is if I do nothing else, that's legacy, you know.
And that's power, you
Yeah,
know?
it's power.
You talk about wealth being, power and resources. Like that's
Right,
power, to have a strong
right,
family,
absolutely,
to have that
absolutely.
story, especially
Yeah,
knowing
I
your
mean,
background too, like can you share a little bit about your
oh,
background just to so that people know, hey, he didn't just start off with this frame of reference.
right. Like
I think it'll be
I didn't
encouraging for
grow
some
up.
folks.
I didn't grow up in the greatest conditions. Like I didn't grow up where like mommy and daddy were like loving each other. I grew up in basically like a war zone. I
Mm,
grew up in a very, very like tumultuous and abusive household, where those stigmas existed. You know, my family's from the Caribbean, and we're black
yeah.
at the end of the day, but we fell right in line. Like my father definitely fell right in line with a lot of those stigmas. Of course, there was a lot of good that was in him, but he
Right.
still fell and fell hard to a lot of those stigmas. Having a baby outside of marriage with my mom, like very abusive, and things of that nature. And so it's easy to say that I come from that environment. I could be that,
Hmm.
right? Um, but I didn't, and I don't plan to.
Yeah.
you know, I don't
That's so
plan
good,
to.
Wendell. That's so good.
No.
And so what would be some of your advice to the black men listening to this? Just brother to
It's
brother.
kind of it's kind of tough to like advise. Like I would never call myself an advisor because
Hmm.
it's kind of icy. You know, I think it's always best to advise within relationship. But
Yeah.
if I could give like some pointers, I'd say, especially if you're a single black man, be okay with being single and to yourself, learning who you are,
Mm,
loving who you are, and I say for me, build a relationship with God because you didn't create yourself.
mm.
You know, You didn't come with instructions, but God knows what to do with you.
Wow.
You
That's
know?
a whole word. And then, man, okay. So as we close, right, I always like to do this. I like to spring it on people, especially since
Cool.
you're an artist.
Okay.
So
Uh-oh.
if you, if we were to, if you're like, hey, you're trying to set people up for success, even yourself, even looking at the last, the 15 years of your career, etc. What would be the top three songs on your playlist? What would be the top three songs on, man, I'm going to win this season. I'm going to make money during and after COVID with my creativity playlist. Go.
That's crazy. That's so hard to do. Hold on, let me cheat a little bit. Let me see. Wait a second.
You're allowed
That's
to cheat. And you can add some
that's
bonus
really.
tracks on there.
You know what? I'm gonna add this Wale Sue Me record on there. Mm,
Man,
wow.
that video was
Okay.
unbelievable. If you haven't watched it, y'all, you'd need
Yeah.
to watch that. The creative direction. It was Kirby who came up with the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He wrote it and everything. Like amazing. And that was actually his directorial debut.
Mm,
Yeah. So that's the very first thing he directed. So that was awesome. Shout out to him.
yeah.
Um, whew, this is so difficult. So the Wale Suni record, that's number one. It's definitely going on there. Um, let's see. Some from the Fugees. I'll have to say Ready or Not. Ready or Not from the
Ooh.
Fugees. Um, let me see. I gotta get I gotta get my man on here. I gotta get some Jay-Z.
Right.
Let's see. Hmm. This is a tough one, Nana. Why'd you do this to me?
I just love how music brings us together, and it really
Yeah,
contextualizes things. It's like,
it
they
really
talk
does.
about a picture's worth 1,000 words, but then, imagine what a song is worth, how many words, you know what I'm saying?
My
A
gosh.
million?
Gosh. Um, let's say, sheesh.
And you guys let us know in the comments section what songs are on your playlist right now, on your Conquering COVID playlist. What songs are you including? I want to know.
Okay, let's do this. What more can I say?
Mm,
Jay-Z
all right. I love
on
it.
rap.
Let's go. Let's go. And so this is off the cuff, but can you share a bit of your poetry with us that you think is relevant that would
Hmm.
speak to some of the students?
Something relevant. I don't really. I can't think of anything off the top that's
Okay.
relevant for the time. But I could probably. I I'd probably give like a love poem or something.
Let's
You
do
up with
it.
that? That's
Yeah.
cool. All right, cool. Another temporary non-platonic, another wasted love. My heart is cold and soul's robotic, so much so I'm stepped on like the souls of Dr. Show's orthotics. Rather love simple instead of moving love at sonic speeds. And sonically, the frequency of honesty, it bothers me sometimes. Mind paces in a state where love and war equate, where fighting just to love, so our loving is at stake here. Once braided, now we're separated, lost in time. Another love receded, another love declined. Another scar, another subpar relation, leave the ship out of relationship. We had no destination. And I'm sorry, sorriest attempts of restoration. If we analyze the start, you see we poisoned our duration.
Mm.
I always think about the times you get dissatisfied. I give you half my heart in hopes that you'll stay satisfied, because when I gave it whole, it's like your attitude has stratified, gratified your instances, stroked your egos back, then we go back to old instances, defeated purposes, the similar differences, the rusty old images of pain that we once painted. We would go restoring love that was once tainted. Once braided, now we're separated, lost in time. Another love receded, another love declined.
I love how we both did it at the same time. That was great. Oh, thank you so much, Wendell. Thank you so much. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
You know, for anybody,
Thank you. This was
again,
cool.
if you found any value in this episode, just smash that like button. Let us know, you know, what are you gonna do now, right? So, because as always, talk is cheap, talk is broke, and time is money. So take
Mm,
action now, you guys. You can really
wow.
thrive during this season, but we have to take massive action. So let me know in the comment section below, what actions are you going to be taking? All right. And one of
And
the
be
best actions,
encouraged.
yeah, be encouraged. And one of the best actions you can take is to sign up for our Student Dream membership, where you'll be able to get access to more training, more learning, to more
Dope.
mentors like Wendell, right? Who've been there, done that. You'll get that
Awesome.
accountability. You'll be able to really learn how to make money, how to invest, and how to start a business in, 10 weeks or less. Okay.
Mm,
And so we want to see you that our success stories have been great. And so we want to really walk with you over the next 12 months to do that. And so again, in the show notes below, you'll see access to that as well. But let's do it, guys. Let's get it. And I'll see you next time.